Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this webinar and to this presentation, which is going to be an introduction to the IBISBA initiative. And I want to start by acknowledging the driving force behind IBISBA, and that is Michael O'Donoghue, who is coordinating all the efforts of IBISBA together with a consortium of partners, of course. IBISBA is an acronym and stands for Industrial Biotechnology Innovation and Synthetic Biology Accelerator. And its aim is to support the transition to the bioeconomy by translational research in industrial biotechnology. Industrial biotech is recognized as a key enabling technology in Europe, and it in fact relies on the use of enzymes and microorganisms for industrial purposes. And this can go to production of chemicals, fuels, pharmaceutical ingredients, materials, and so on. So this is a very broad field, and its success to bring research and new insights into application and innovation relies really on synergies between biology and chemical engineering. And with the recent advances of the past decade, let's say, synthetic biology has really come up and has been considered a real game changer for industrial biotech. And this is exactly what IBISBA aims to do, to come to the full potential of these new developments. IBISBA is not a research initiative, but it's a research infrastructure project. And more importantly, it brings together top-level research infrastructure that is already available in Europe, but it's spread over Europe. So it's a distributed research infrastructure project. And you see on the map the 16 partners that are currently making up the IBISBA consortium and that are spread all over Europe and bring in their own expertise, know-how, and infrastructure. This group of partners is not just a network, but there is a close interaction, and they are committed to work together to improve performances of industrial biotech and to bring new insights and cutting-edge knowledge into innovation that is taken up by new industrial activity in Europe. And they also want to work closely together to rationalize investments, so to avoid parallel investments in similar equipment that is maybe already available elsewhere in Europe. The vision of IBISBA is to become a world-class, knowledge-rich European industrial biotechnology hub, and that comes with single broker access to infrastructure and know-how of the consortium, sharing knowledge assets, not only between the research infrastructure operators, but also between the users of that infrastructure, and a seamless end-to-end research, development, and innovation pipeline execution. So this all relies on operating the network by cloud technology and cutting-edge data science. So this is in fact the vision that we have for the IBISBA initiative in the years to come. Which services do we then offer to the industrial biotech community? Well, they are summarized here. So I already mentioned that we are really aiming for picking up new fundamental knowledge and ensure that the chances of uptake by the industry are maximized. And this translational research thus involves research and activities starting from biocatalyst design, going to omics technologies, up to bioprocess development, optimization, intensification, upscaling, and so on. So this is really a very broad range of services that is offered. And to gain most out of this, we believe that public-private collaboration is a very important prerequisite. We want to develop workflows and standards to standardize and harmonize as much as possible the activities and the way the activities are being executed. And this aims to improve interoperability and reproducibility of results. The knowledge assets are stored in a web-based repository. That's the IBISBA Hub. And this is also a tool that we are using and developing as much as needed. And also with the transnational access, this will be something that will be used extensively to store the knowledge that is being gained. And with this set of services, we believe we have a unique operational platform for biotech services in the broad sense. A few distinguishing features still of IBISBA. IBISBA appears on the roadmap of ESFRI, which is the European Science Forum on Research Infrastructure, which means that Europe has recognized the importance of providing access to this type of infrastructure for innovation in Europe, for the well-being of Europe, and for industrial expansion. This ESFRI roadmap, or appearing on the ESFRI roadmap, comes with certain steps that have to be taken. And at this moment, we are in the preparation phase, which means that we are taking all preparatory activities to set up a legal entity that will handle all the services on the long term and the access to the infrastructure. We are a bit different compared to most other ESFRI projects in the sense that we are not focusing only on the low technology readiness level, so going to basic principles and proofs of concept, but we also go beyond that and include activities that are related to prototype development and demonstration and validation in significant environments. So this includes activities across the valley of debt to make sure that we innovate and upscale developments up to a level that they can be taken up by a private sector and industry. So we really cover this full technology readiness level range from 1 to 6. I mentioned already, this is a research infrastructure initiative, and we in fact want to give open access to that infrastructure. And at this moment, we have a program in place for subsidized access to these facilities. The subsidies are, however, subject to one condition, and it is that they are transnational. So if you apply for access to a certain research service or facility, you can only get subsidies for that, provided that this service or equipment or infrastructure is located in a different country than the one that you are located in. The way you can request such an access is through open calls. I will come back to that in a minute. The users can be academics, small and medium-sized enterprises, and large companies. These can be professionals coming from the EU member states, associated and third countries, so it's not limited to EU countries only. And importantly, you can also apply or request access to multiple services or infrastructure. So it's not limited to access to one particular infrastructure only. And so you can really pick services and bring them together in a multi-access proposal or project. We work through open calls, and in fact, the 5th call for transnational access projects is open now, and the deadline for submission of proposals is the end of April. Which services do we offer? Well, they are summarized here in the design, build, test, learn cycle. More information on these services can be found on our website and also through the webinars that we have organized before and which can still be consulted on the website. But this is not limited to the DBTL cycle alone, but also to these process optimization, intensification, and upscaling work. So really the process aspect, and that is what we will highlight today. But these services are included as well. So where can you find the information on the transnational access calls? You can go to our website, and there will be a dedicated web page that refers to the transnational access call 5, and so the 5th one that is currently there. And there you will find documentation, all the information that you need to prepare a proposal, and also the conditions to make sure that it's eligible for the transnational access subsidies. Maybe in a few words, we have had already a few transnational access calls. So this is the 5th one. Now there is a few new features that I want to bring to your attention. For this one, we are particularly interested in applications that request multiple services covering ideally even the whole bioprocess lifecycle. So this concerns services linked to the design, build, test, and learn steps, but also to the process development step. So if you have a very ambitious idea where various services among the cycle would be required, this is very much encouraged that you apply then for TNA, for this current TNA call. This also means that the size of the projects, the budgets overall, can be much larger than they were in the previous calls. You can also request for assistance in finding the right facilities that can deliver the services that you are looking for. So in that case, please contact the TNA administrator, and she will be more than helpful to help you in that. And then finally, there is also more flexibility in the fact that during your application, if you're interested in a broad range of services and not all of them can be covered by subsidies anymore, then you can pay for the extra services that are required, so you can apply in a co-funded way. And so partly covering certain costs by yourself and receiving subsidies for another part of the services that is of interest to you in the whole package of services that you request. I cannot give more details on that right now, but in case this is something that interests you or where you would like to get more information, don't hesitate to contact us or the TNA administrator, and then specifically for your case, this can be discussed in detail. So we would be happy to assist you on that. A few words still on how do you get from application to the actual access to the infrastructure. Well, normally after submission of your proposal, there will be an eligibility check. If that one is positive, the proposals go to an expert scientific panel that judges the progress beyond the state of the art. There will be a ranking based on the scientific merit of the proposals, and then the best ranked ones that will finally be retained are then going through a final technical feasibility check. And if that is also positive, of course, the user access contract will be negotiated and the project can start with the access to the multiple services or infrastructures that have been requested. Total duration for this process is about 4 months. And so we have to go through a variety of panel evaluations, and this takes time. So a few months before, between submission and actual start of your activities. For now, we had the 5th call. There will probably be one more transnational access call. So if you're not ready yet to submit with a proposal for a current call, you might also be interested in the next call. In that case, we would strongly suggest that you register on our page with services through the subscribe button, because then you will be automatically alerted about the new call, when it will be launched, what the deadlines are, and what the conditions are. So this is in a nutshell the information I wanted to share on IBISBA and on our subsidized access